everyone. It's great to see your faces. Read your names. Today I welcome you to my bedroom in a small Canadian village where spring is slowly unfolding. Believe it or not, you are all sitting on my bed with me and my cat. Oh, can you hear me better now? It's the difficulties of speaking with a cat on your lap. Now you're all on my lap with me and my cat. That's my reality of you right now, no matter where you are in the world. And for you, I may be on your coffee table, your desk, or your stomach, or on your phone, in your pocket. We each have our own reality. I don't really want to treat truth like it's a singular object that some people have and some people don't. At the same time, I can only speak from my own truth in this moment. From where I am. My own introduction into this spiritual world was very spontaneous and sudden. And after that, I always had a shimmering, a tingling, a sweet chill, a vibration that would come anytime I called to it or anytime I looked within myself. I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't had that feeling to guide me. So it's very hard for me to prescribe any specific practice or way that can lead you to your own personal truth or anything, because your way, your path will be as unique and unconventional feeling as mine. For me, it was never really about finding who I am or anything. It started as a frustration that everything happening inside of me was so confusing and messy and complex. I didn't know what any of it meant. Didn't know how to sort it out. Didn't know where any of it came from. And for years, that made me avoid myself. And there came a time where I just wanted my body back. I just wanted my life back instead of running. So I found after a while there was nowhere to run. As much as I ran away from the things inside of myself, I found that those things manifested outside of myself. No matter where I went, these things that I was running from inside would find me, whether I was dreaming or doing anything in the world. They would always find me. I never knew how to deal with them. But I didn't want to run anymore. I didn't trust anybody else. Anybody else's opinion or anybody else's life lesson, anybody else's wisdom. I just wanted to find my own treasure, my own wisdom. So I sat down and devoted all of my time and attention for about 1 month. I just looked at what was going on within me, felt what was going on, felt the relationship that these various elements within me had with each other and with the outside world. And I didn't label them. I didn't define them. I just experienced them. And I also felt what each of them meant to me, how important some of these feelings were to me, or some of these stories were to me. and why they were so important, why they were so strong. Why some of them came with thoughts that were very negative, and why some thoughts triggered certain feelings. I just looked and felt and heard what was going on within me and actually paid attention to it. And it was very confusing and frustrating. And scary at times. But as the 30 days went on, there was sort of a loosening that was happening, where I was identifying less and less with this mess inside of myself. Because the more that I watched how all of these elements within myself were related to each other, and how they all played off each other, and how they all arose and disappeared and fought, I started to recognize that these things weren't really me. These things weren't all that I was. And many of these things were actually in the way of me experiencing life directly. At the end of that 30 days, I had some kind of realization, which for me just means a broadening of awareness, or a expansion of awareness, where suddenly it became very, very clear that the things I was experiencing within myself and outside of myself were not me, and they didn't control me, they didn't define me. That was just one experience that in itself is meaningless, but it opened my awareness to a whole different universe of experience, a whole different layer of consciousness that I wasn't aware of before. And I probably could have explored that level of awareness endlessly. But then another experience comes and rattles everything that you know and opens up a different universe. For me, that it feels like there are many layers, and each of the layers are part of me, and it is sort of a joy to explore the contents of myself as a human, as a spirit moving through this world. And it does come with a confidence. There's a confidence that I have spent time within myself and experiencing what it means to be me, and a confidence that nobody knows me in the way that I do. And by the same token, I know almost nothing about anyone or anything else. which is quite a relief, actually. Because I'd much rather hear someone express themselves and their own truth than tell someone what their truth is. And I know it's hard to express truth in words, but still we try. I've heard that some people try to meditate or go deep within themselves, and maybe they sit for an hour or 2 hours a day for a long time and don't feel like they've gotten anywhere. But for me, there is no wasted time. That is spent within yourself. And really, there's nowhere to get. There's no objective truth that you're supposed to attain. For me, this whole idea of know thyself and who am I, they cover everything. They cover the human, the individual self, the divine, the spiritual self. And even beyond all of that. Whatever truth is arising in the moment within you around you, above you, below you, in your head, in your heart. Get to know that. All of these things are a part of us. And there may come a time to ignore them all and deeply yearn for that which never arises and never goes away. But for me, it was very much a process. And still very much is a process. If I close my eyes and sink into myself, relax into myself, sometimes there is something very intense that comes up, maybe a memory or a repressed emotion. And if they come up, to me, that means that they are ready, they're ripe, and that now is the time to feel them, to love them, to experience them, and to let them go. Sometimes they feel overwhelming, but I've found that nothing has ever come up that I wasn't ready to feel. There have been many times where I've buried what has come up because I didn't like it or I didn't want to feel it or it scared me. But these things come back. These things come back up later. For me, it's just sitting in the space of myself. And if nothing appears in that space, that's okay. That's my truth at that moment. Spaciousness. It doesn't mean I'm failing at my spiritual quest. Doesn't mean anything. And if I've been completely at peace, still, silent mind for 5 years, and then some very human, trivial thought or petty emotion comes up, that doesn't mean that I'm failing. That doesn't mean that I've done something wrong. For me, that is the process of knowing myself. And I thought that process would end when I intensely dug and fought and surrendered to find my source, the source of my existence, of all existence. That pure, perfect, omniscient awareness. I thought that was the end. If I got there, I would be finished. And I could be finished. I don't have to do anything. But there's all of these universes within me to explore. And you could say that they're illusory. That's okay. And really, for me, whether I explore them or not, they come to me. Life is with me. Whether I'm interacting with life on a human level, which is the level of being a person, being a male of a certain age from a certain place with a certain name and a birth date, etc., within my own skin, or being a spirit, which to me feels like a sense of presence that extends far beyond my body out into the world. Or whether my experience is of being beyond consciousness altogether. I am constantly slipping and sinking through these layers, not completely contained within any single one of them.